Yeah, Ron, why don't you start off with just giving us an intro on how you got into reefing and then move into this tank build.
Okay. About 8 or 9 years ago, I had a friend who was really obsessed with fish tanks, and anytime we met up, we would get a coffee, and we'd always end up inevitably going to fish stores. And he was really, really negative about me starting with marine. He strongly recommended I started with tropical. So he was upgrading his tropical tank, and he gave me for free a 60 litre little kind of shitty tank. And I made multiple mistakes with it. I kept buying German blue rams. And over here, there's a major issue with German blue rams. And it's in the breeding process, and they die really, really quickly. So I kept on thinking I was making all these mistakes. So I eventually gave up on German blue rams and just got neon tetras, a pleco, a couple of clown loaches, things like that, and got bored within 2 months. I was like, no, every time I go to the shop with this mate of mine, all I see is all of these bright yellow tangs and multiple coloured fish, and the tropical just wasn't doing it for me at all. So at this stage, I was starting to suffer from depression because I'd changed a job. I'd been in the same garden centre for nearly 18 years, and I threw myself right out of my comfort zone, and it didn't end well. And I said to Bernadette one day, I says, "Oh, there's a guy selling a 400 litre marine aquarium about 20 miles from us. I'm going to go and see it." So I went and saw it, and it was just a big 400 litre tank with live rock, a yellow tang, a pair of clowns, a 6-line RAS, and that was it. That's all there was in the tank. And I said on the spot, I said, okay, I'll buy it. And I knew nothing about marine tanks. I hadn't done any research. I didn't realize I had to use marine salt, nothing like that. And went and picked it up, kept every drop of water, got back to the house, realized I hadn't kept every drop of water, had no salt, didn't know about RODI. That was a stressful 48 hours, but it was just what I needed at that time, was this complete and utter focus. And yeah, that was the start of the hobby for me. I've had multiple upgrades, and obviously all my tanks were at home at that point, and now they're all at my place of work because this is where I am all day, every day. So yeah, that's the history. My dad had marine tanks when I was young, and the technology back then was absolutely horrendous. And I only ever remember him picking out dead fish. He didn't have much luck with it. So yeah, he was not part of the reason why I got into the hobby. So this tank was an upgrade from a 425 XL reefer that I got years ago. COVID hit, business started going a bit tits up. We were forced to close. Garden centres in England were allowed to stay open the entire time, but I'll just move on from that, or I'll start smashing things up. Our First Minister decided we were to remain shut, whose parents are customers of ours, interestingly enough. Anyway, so sold that to make some money personally for covering our mortgage and bills at home and things like that. And then coming out the other end of COVID, decided, no, I really need a tank in my life. But the 425 XL was in the corner of the office around from my desk. So I couldn't actually see it from where I was working, which was a massive mistake. So I measured, and this space here, so this is where I work all day, every day. So the tank is an absolute perfect continuation of the desk. So it just sweeps around the corner. And then that's when the project kind of grew arms and legs. The tank came on the 26th of August 2020. And then that's when I was like, This sump is absolutely tiny and it's really, really limited. So that's when I ordered an acrylic sump, which came in the December of 2020. So I decided to plumb it through the wall. So the start of that process started with, well, I'm not going to be using any of the Red Sea sump valves and pipework. How am I going to plumb this through the wall? So Red Sea actually do these kind of connection kits. And I just got a hold of little bits and pieces and stuck them all together just to take it to standard 32 and 25 mil PVC piping, unions, etc. I don't know if I can get it around the corner, but it goes through the wall like that. And then comes through here. And then that's the return, which is a core 20. That's the emergency, that's the main drain, which is 32 mil, and the emergency drain, which is 25, which both come back here. So the main drain here runs into a Clarity fleece filter. That is a core 15 down there, which is running my 85 watt Troptronic UV sterilizer. It is oversized, but it was the best I could get my hands on at the time. That's actually the power pack for it, and it gets absolutely fucking roasted. And here is a little carbon reactor that switches off at the moment because I am dosing that.
And do you run the return pump full speed, 100% power, just because all the pipe runs?
Yeah, I do now. Before the tank changeover, a couple of weeks ago, I was running the core 20. I'll be honest, I don't know what the percentage was, but it was only 3 of these lights. Since changing the power pack and resetting it when I had that issue with the brick, it automatically jumped up to 100, and I think I prefer the tank turnover at that level, so I've just left it at 100%. So yeah, then it moves into the skimmer chamber, which I have covers on. There's the max specs bio blocks under there. There's 8 of them under there. There's 12 of them in this section, and there's 4 of them in this section, along with a Brightwell brick, the big brick. The continuum ones, which I was told were identical and was sent them from my supplier, even though I ordered the Brightwell ones. He just kept on telling me, they're not, oh shit, there goes the cover. They're not the same. They collapse completely. I mean, I've actually got a video of me just like squeezing it with my hand, and my hand just goes into it like a sponge. And I don't know if that had partial reason for some of my disasters. There's Dudley. Look, Dudley. Well, so this is the skimmer chamber, 500 watt titanium aquamedic heater. And down in the corner there is a little Tunzi. I think it's a 6045, just to keep that. This was very, very low flow. It just seemed to, because I'm dosing in here, I didn't feel like it was getting mixed enough, and it was there was precipitate and things. So since installing that little circulation pump, everything that goes in there hits turbulence instantly and then gets dosed back up into the tank. It's back to the tank to show you where the MP40s are. So there's 4 MP40s in the tank. So there's 2 at the bottom there and 1 there. You see them here. and there's one down this bottom corner as well. Now, I used to have one directly in there, and it used to blow through here, but these corals were all getting a kind of weird peeled skin. And this is where I think my issues are coming from at the moment with all this die-off in here. This die-off is going into the Joker, into the tricolour, and into this, I don't know what name this acro is, this bigger one at the back. But that stylo was in such high flow, it wasn't growing at all. It was just like a purple coating to the rock, and it never had a chance to grow. Now it is. It's covered in new pure white growth tips. And I'm just wondering, I mean, Mike just suggested just today that it might be sending out sweepers. So, but hell of a long sweepers, because it's going, can you see it's going right into the centre of this colony? And it's going right up the side of this tricolour here. So I don't know what's going to happen with that situation. 2 Gen 5 XR30 Pros, mounted 4.5, 5 inches above the tank. And then there's all of this. Where to start? Okay, so Trident talks to the brain. It then doses magnesium, calcium, alkalinity. With the doses, this is a automatic water change system. It currently does 15 litres every night, in and out. That's the MP40 drivers and controllers, and that is battery backup. Every single cable, and I mean every single cable, all of this, was in trunking, and it looked absolutely amazing, but I will 100% put my hand up right now and say it is not practical for equipment that you need to maintain, clean, or when something breaks, you've got to strip it all off, and it is not worth it. So I think Velcro ties or something, but you know, all of this trunking is great. That keeps it all in check. But yeah, it's a complete pain in the arse to break into and take apart, especially in an emergency. The chances are you're going to cause damage to other things when you're doing it. So that was a learning curve, but I had so much time during COVID that, you know, this whole project kind of grew arms and legs. So I have the 80K from Neptune, the automatic top-up. This is the reservoir that the guy made along with this. So I don't know if you can see the pump in there.
I'm losing.
Everything's connected with one-link modules now. Oh, you still there?
No, I think I got you back now.
Oh, okay. Everything is connected with one-link modules because we only last year got the EB632. So we didn't have any one-link capability on our power bars up until last year. So I had to get one links to run everything to save on power bricks. I also got a second pH and temp probe module because I have a temp probe in the sump and a second temp probe in the tank, just to make sure that, you know, if the flow stops and the turn pump stops, it's not going to melt it because it's only reading 1. There's also a heater in the tank there. That's another 500 watt Aquamedic titanium. I think that's about it. That's my frag saw and just bits and pieces. So that's the automatic top up for the office reefer tank. And that is a 200 litre automatic top off for the frag system. I know it's a wee bit overkill, but I had it left over from another project, so it made sense just to use it. and these are hooked up to float switches. So I can automatically on my phone turn on my RO unit, and this will stop filling because it's got a float sensor in it, as does this. I'll quickly show you where the automatic water change tank is. Is through the wall. So that's my quarantine tank, and that is the 800 litre. So this is where I have all my salt water. This fills from the 200 litre freshwater tank next door, or I can turn this valve down here and it'll fill directly from the RO unit. And in here I have 3 Eheim universal pumps for mixing. I did start with just 2 blasting from one end to the other, but see the third one that is pointing towards us at the moment, that makes all the difference for mixing. So I don't heat that. I used to heat my water, but because I'm now on automatic water changes, it's not necessary. That's just quarantine tank full of random shit. Come on, Dudley.
It's an attractive quarantine tank.
Sorry?
Attractive quarantine tank.
Oh yeah, I got that off. That was the tank I got for quarantining all of my fish during the velvet. So it was I went on Gumtree. This absolute fucking junkie skank was selling it up in Glasgow. Me and 2 mates jumped in the van, went up to Glasgow. She had a drawer full of cats.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah.
there you go. Fucking random. Yeah, so I think that's that system. Does anyone have any questions about the reefer?
How much are you dosing?
So in the reefer currently I'm dosing roughly 50 to 60 ml of alk a day, 15 ml of calcium, and 15 to 20 ml of magnesium. I was dosing Acropower, but like I said, I've stopped doing that. I was getting nothing from that, 0. So I don't know see if I'd maybe got to this stage of changing all my lighting and things like that. Maybe I would get more of a benefit from it. Maybe the corals would need more. I don't know. Anyway, I think it was Mr. Budnick said, when you buy the bottles and they arrive, they're all fucking dusty. Nobody uses it. Nobody fucking uses it. So I'm not using it. So yeah, so that's the dosing in that tank. I do have in this cabinet, I do have ozone sitting ready to go if I ever decided to do it again. But Red Sea skimmers are not ozone friendly, so I don't want to fuck my skimmer up. So I've decided just to leave that. Do you want me to move on to the frag system, or do you want any other questions?
I have another question. What are your nutrient levels? Do you deal with low nutrients? You don't have many fish.
Yeah, I've been struggling with phosphate for sure. It's been far too low. So Zach, Mr. Dubb and I spoke, and he said, "Oh well, reef roids is a surefire guaranteed way of getting your phosphates up." So I dumped some phosphates in it, and this was when all of this coralline, all of it, the entire tank started to lose color to the point it almost went pure white. And that's when I was like, "Oh, I better do some tests." And I do have that API Aquaspin thing, and it's okay, but it's just it's not. I mean, you could test. I don't know. It just says 0.1 no matter what. That's all I'm going to say. Other than that, it's a really good, quick, broad spectrum. If shit is hitting the fan, you would take a sample, throw it in that machine, and it's gonna give you roughly where you are. But it does just seem to give you the. Yeah, I don't know if it's a resolution issue or something. But yeah. Any other questions on the Office system? Do you want me to go through livestock? Because that would be more sensible. Although I don't know what these are, because I've had so many emergencies and I've ripped stuff out so quickly under emergencies. I don't know what I put back and what's where. So I know that's a tricup. I know that's a joker. Milka Stylo, obviously. Setosa, which is getting a little bit wild. The big puffy cans, which this little bluish green one here on the end, I did have Cyphastia Jingle Bells here, and I have been lasering it, and so far it's the only coral, I don't know whether you can actually see, that some of the polyps are getting colour back. It is fighting the laser a wee bit. Everything else I've hit with it is fucked. I mean, this Montipora, which keeps on trying to grow up this rock towards all my acros, the white line is, I just keep lasering it to hold it back. And it just, it keeps growing under the rock, which is cool. But, yeah, but the Cyphastia, I mean, I've zapped the fuck out of that, and it keeps growing.
And where did you laser your name?
It was up here somewhere. Oh shit, I could have just denied that and said, what the fuck are you talking about, Russ? Don't talk shit. Jim would only do something as lame as that.
That's what she said.
So yeah, I don't know the names of these. I'm sorry, because like I say, things turn to shit. And this little green one here, this tiny, tiny, tiny fragment there, and there is a tiny blob of Sarmentosa behind this plating acro here that have all just regrown from snapped off frags that were removed during emergencies. So that's got that coral here is going berserk, but it also has a tiny wee. See if I can find it. Do you see the dead patch just underneath it there? That happened during the tank move. This blob here is the dying, almost completely dead now, Bill Murray. This is a tort of some description, and I don't know which one it is. Not a clue. And this was supposed to be PC Rainbow, and it has only started. It was, see the main penis? That penis was all it was for nearly an entire year, and all of those branches have only just started growing. So I'm wondering if that's that parasitic copepod issue, or I don't know what's been happening. This one here again is another frag that was snapped off of a mini colony during an emergency, and don't know what the fuck it is. I'm terrible with names anyway.
So do you like the way your coral's growing? Like the layout and everything?
No, I would do things slightly differently, and to be honest, if all these are going to die, I might get my wish to change it. But yeah, so this was purposely put there as I knew it was going to grow like that, as was this one, and this one here. Yeah, there's a lot of space. There's a lot of real estate here that I want to put acros in, but until I've got things stable since that move, I don't really want to. I'm definitely not throwing more money at it at the moment until things are stable. And
it'd be cool to see which one of those corals does fill that space instead.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
I've got some really nice acros in the frag tank that hopefully in time I will frag them and move them over.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like you don't need to frag them. Like you could put instant colonies in there.
Yeah, I've got some pretty chunky things in here that I could.
You have more frags
Maybe
of those
sure.
ones that are growing in the display, right? Those are from that display.
Yeah. So I mean, that's all Joker, for example. There, I've got quite a lot of purple Valida back there and things like that. I've even got some smooth skins that have survived in here but wouldn't survive in there.
Are you watching? I know you're probably not watching any of those new BRS videos or with like unique corals or anything.
Yeah. I
Did you?
watch quite a lot of content.
So he was saying something I thought was interesting about, which was cool for me, but buying 3 acros at a time and sticking them next to each other, and then they grow into a colony with 3 stalks instead of that weird aquarium 1-stalk colony, and then everything
Yeah,
grows at the top of it. And I thought that was a cool idea. Kind of
it's a
Jake
brilliant
kinda
idea.
does that.
It's a brilliant idea, and also that idea of don't just stick a stick pointing upwards. You know, if acros
Right.
get damaged in the wild, they grow lying on their sides. So glue that frag down onto a plug on its side, and I've done that with a couple of corals, and they do look weird as fuck to begin with. But to be honest, they end up far better than. I mean, look at this. It's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah,
I don't know.
no doubt.
Yeah. So that's
I
something
bet
I'll get
those
with.
I bet those tall ones I bet would sell quicker though, like you just said.
It's what people are used to, isn't it?
Right.
I'll turn the flow off on this quickly.
Do you like dags? Dags? What?
Yeah, dogs.
Dags. Do you like dags? Oh, dogs. Sure. I like dags.
So in here is just frags that obviously I'm trying to just make a little bit of pocket money from. So Goniastria Moon Splatter, some Aussie Duncans, red Gonies, pink Gonies with sort of greeny gold tentacles. Acans, which I'll be honest, these are colonies that were bought like that. These are ones I've fragged. I've not had great results of pretty acans from fragging. Some of them are looking okay now, but I've not been really happy with them. There's lots of plugs showing and not great growth. That green stylo was the only survivor from the Indo colonies I got years ago. They all completely fell apart. These acros here are from, as you can see, I've chopped the top off that, and that is the great big one that's in the office tank as well, up the back right-hand corner. It has survived every disaster and grows like fuck. Liptastria, I think that's what you call that. It has never looked so good since I've been up in my lights and doing the bear dip. These 2 frags are Kung Po Montipora, and they have grown, died 60 times since I bought them. Until now, they are completely taken off. Some Setosa, some Ceratopora bird's nests, some green Anacropora. Must admit, doesn't really do it for me. Pain in the arse that it literally will not encrust. So the only support is what you give it. Milka Stylo, bigger bits of the green Ceratopora.
Shut up and sit down, you big bald fuck.
These are tricolor, and I assume you can see that you can actually see little green mouths on it. They have been fucking turds, and I mean solid fucking turds, for like 2.5 years until I've made these recent changes and all the colours coming in. Purple Valida, and then this is just a fucking smorgasbord of all sorts of stuff. But that tiny little neon green one is my Hawkins Echinata, which has again, died back 60 times and just keeps regrowing. I mean, it just won't die. That's about 6 millimeters long, and it just keeps going. These are jokers. These are unknowns, not a clue what these two are. That one's not got great colour, but it is starting to come back a wee bit. This is, I think, is it blue curacao or something? This one here, I think. These are the new ones I got from Signature Frags, which I think I posted pictures and names and stuff of. This little guy here was the worst infested coral with the parasitic copepods, which it seems were the same as Scotties. And as you can see, it is growing and colouring up since dipping with Bear. Not a fucking clue. Smooth skin. I think this was called Smooth Criminal. Can't remember. That is my surviving, encrusting, and now thriving Bill Murray that I took out the office tank before the disaster happened. This is supposed to be PC Rainbow as well. Fuck off. Here's Naso. He is literally a pain in the tits. Yeah, unknowns, some unknown acros. Cyphastria Jingle Bells, like I say, laser proof, unbelievable. Setosa, unknown, which again has just been sitting as a plate doing nothing, but as you can see now has multiple sections of growth. Empty plate really with a wee bit of Goniastria moon splatter and a little bit of Liptastria there as well. Unknown, completely unknown, but now thriving. We'll soon find out what that is. And just some toxic green Monte.
So Ron, do you just
Yes.
point? Do you just like point at some algae for the Naso to come eat it?
No, I just grab a plug.
No, but everywhere you're taking pictures and pointing, the Naso comes in the picture.
He's a fucking asshole. He's absolutely gorgeous, and I absolutely love him. One of my favourite fish. So full of personality. He's absolutely brilliant. He's very helpful, and this little wrasse is really cool as well. He goes to town on the bottom of the plugs as soon as I lift him out.
Do you keep a lid on that?
Yeah. So I've got this.
Oh, okay.
This net lid which goes across the top, and then I made this out of just wall. That's to cover the weir. So it's 2 returns, 2 emergency drains, and a normal drain. And again, I have a temperature probe in the tank and one in the sump, which I will just switch the sump light on.
So what should I call you? Should I call you Bullet, Tooth?
You can call me Susan if it makes you happy.
So in here, main drain going to a Clarity again, 2 emergency drains, and then the 2 returns, this one and this one, run to 2 Vectras. I have a Tunzi 6045 circulation pump in every single chamber of my sump, keeping all detritus suspended back into the tank, which feeds things, but also then filters it back out. Carbon reactor running into the Clarity as per Jim's recommendation, and all fin erosion on my tanks has been eliminated since doing that. I dose calcium and alkalinity in this corner, right directly into a power head. this is two, because it has two inlets, I had to block one of the inlets with this little bit of pipe and a plastic screw, and then the other one goes to there. And that is running Fauna Marin skim breeze. Lots of max specs bricks. I've got them all over the place because obviously there is no rock in this tank. And the racks get cleaned so often that there is just nowhere for bacteria to colonize other than that. So I went a wee bit overboard with them. But again, got it at wholesale, so the price costs add up. Nios reactor, running the Fauna Marins, is it Fozex or something? I can't remember the name of it. That's a recent addition because I've been really struggling with my phosphates. But also another little extra win is I have quite a lot of sponge growth, and when you take the brick out of the rack and put it back in, it pretty much scrapes it clean, which is really handy. Ridley skimmer, Tunzi ATO, which has been absolutely rock solid, and I have that on all my other tanks. The office tank was the first time I used the ATK from Neptune. Same UV setup. And oh shit, I forgot on that system. I'm running the little Sentia dosers, which are amazing. The app is probably one of the best I've ever seen, and it is running the Tropic Marin Elements K Plus and A Minus as per Jim's recommendation. I'm running the same in this tank. Trident again, and pretty much like for like automatic water changes, doing 15-20 litres a night. In P40s, there's 4 of them, so there's 2 on this end of the tank, and because of this section of wood, I couldn't get them as low down as the ones on the back, so I 3D printed this rack just a little bit taller to allow the flow to go under. So there's 2 there, there's 1 at the back, and then there's 1 at the end here. The only issue with this was that I still felt like I wasn't getting enough flow in the top portion of the tank. So about 6 months ago, I installed a MacBook Gyre. I think it's the 350. So it just gives the kind of like blanket flow across the top of the corals. I don't have it set up absolutely cranking, but just enough to clear between the corals and, as Ryan would say, get into that boundary layer. So yeah, that's any questions about that system?
All your frags, you've got a really wide variety, but like 60% of them you don't have in your display.
Yeah,
You've got a bunch of frags that you just have in your frag tank.
yeah. The hobby kind of has taken turns for me. Like I got into like almost purely SPS from my personal wants of the hobby. I'm only really interested in SPS. But you go up to my local fish store, and all he wants me to grow is Duncan's, Goniopora, and acants. It's all he's interested in. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like I've been there and done the LPS, and I've moved on to SPS, and I enjoy the colours and the challenges they bring. It's a natural progression in the hobby, doesn't it? Everyone starts off with softies and LPS and ends up in SPS. I mean, am I wrong?
Yeah, I think everybody kind of goes through it, but I think a lot of people end up then going back and making a little LPS. You know what I think happens? I think some burnout happens, and LPS is just lower.
Comfy. It's comfortable.
Yeah, so it's like fuck this. I did it SPS. I can do SPS. I'm tired of dealing with this. I'm just gonna make it I don't do fucking shit tank. The LPS is gonna grow like weeds.
Yeah, I mean, Bernadette and I have been planning on moving house. I mean, that's why the tank is in the shop, is because I didn't want a tank during a house move. But, you know, COVID, blah, blah, blah. So we're not moving house. But when we do move house, I know for a fact that when I do have a tank in the house, it's not going to be purely SPS. No way. I want movement. Yeah, it's different. This was just, but the office tank was just what I wanted at the time. And, you know, Jim, you and I have talked a couple of times about the fact that, you know, some of the videos you watch online and things like that, actually, BRS definitely had a massive part in this for me. The dry rock, blah, 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 blah. Negative aqua space, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, YouTube's got a lot to answer for. Frag station, stickers, all the good ones. Thanks to Mr. B.
Super good ones.
So this is where I do my my fragging. This is the wee pop-up table. This is where I do my testing as well. This is where there was, I think was there a fuck you Jim sign here? I think there was a fuck you. I think there was one in there. I think they were everywhere. Random reefing stuff, fragging stuff, glues, supplements, test kits, cleaner for the front of the glass. Just turn this flow back on. And I will just put this lid back on because this is when official fucking jump.
They will go through bone like butter.
Oh,
How much?
IP cameras. So there's a wee one in there which gives me the view of this sump. There's one here that gives me a view of the tank. There's one here that gives me a view of that sump. And there's one here that gives me a view of that tank.
So I know you lost your butterfly,
Yeah.
and in the frag tank you have the Nasso and the RAS. Is there any other fish in there?
Yeah, there's a blue-eye coal tank. He's very shy, and I don't know whether you guys have ever noticed this. I know I have. I think the lenses on the front of phones look like fish eyes, and it definitely affects my fish when I go too close to them. It's hit the Naso, who's a dick. And there's two clowns. So that female clown, I bred myself about 4 years ago. The male jumped out and died. And on the same day, a member of staff here's female jumped out and died in his home tank. So he brought his male in, and they have now coupled up. So yeah, that is a little, the big female there, we bred ourselves. So out of the millions of little baby clowns we had, 4 survived.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's she's doing really well. Really well. The parents of her both died in a complete fucking disaster years ago in my frag tank when a member of staff said, do you have any live rock I could have? I said, yeah, take a piece out of the tank and take it home and see how you get on. And he took the rock out and went home and didn't realise he'd knocked the temperature probe off the rack. It fell down the back of the tank, and the tank got to 42 degrees and literally cooked everything, including her parents. That was a fucking horrible day. You know that kind of way when you walk in and you can just smell a bad fish tank? And I didn't know what was going on, but fucking hell, something does not smell good. And then I found the absolute disaster.
What about the your little display? What do you have fish in there? You have the
and this one,
yeah.
So pair of Da Vinci clowns, Achilles tang, and a 6-line wrasse. I did have a firefish, but it decided to get its entire body sucked out its eye socket during somebody's tank tour. And obviously, the spunkiest snails in the world. Spunky. Just in a version of Russ's plates. Spunky. I'm surprised it's not swimming in spunk today, because that's normally when it happens. These are XR30 Pros. These are the G6s, and that is only because that, I don't know if you guys have this over there, but when a new version comes out, no matter how much stock of the old versions they have, they only sell you the new version. Really, really weird. So that's why there's 3 of them, and they're hung from the ceiling. Currently ramping from 35% to 80% over a 40-day period. Don't think there's anything else. It's same dosing containers, same dosing via the Trident, etc. This is a painting of an octopus that our shop manager did for me, and she did it in glowing paint. We don't have all those crazy glowing paint things that you guys have over there. You can see it shows. So she actually did this without any knowledge of that even being a thing, which is incredible. And so Bernadette didn't feel left out. She also did one of an orchid for her. Any other questions?
You got an awesome system, Ron.
I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. The bare bottom, the dry rock, the minimalist look, the how clean everything is, and you know, obviously I know you're a huge fan of that. I don't do fucking shit, but yeah, I just think this entire system is product of YouTube and what was going on at the time. And to be honest, nobody else here really had anything like this. I mean, not many people use Apexes here. It's starting now, but nobody really did it. I just hope the Hydros hurries the fuck up. And that's the Trident waste. I just empty that every couple of months or something like that. It's all my ABC reagents that I just mixed a new batch of. I used the HANA multi-photometer for testing. I only really test phosphates and alkalinity with this, just to double check the Trident now and again, belt and braces and all that.
Are you sending off ICPs?
Say again?
Are you sending off ICPs?
I've sent 2 or 3 ICPs off in the past, only when shit was hitting the fan, and I was like, is this me, or is it just... This was when Turkeygate was going on with the Tropic Marin Pro Reef salt. All of my buckets stated they weren't from Turkey, they were from Germany. However, there was definitely some questionable things going on in my tanks. At the time, I was finding physical objects in the buckets. Every mixing container was considerably dirtier than before. And by considerably dirty, I mean I could leave them for 6 months when I first started using TMPR salt, and have no debris, no brownness on the mixing containers. And then 1 bucket of salt, poured it in. There was visible crap in the bottom of the container. There was a bit of plastic. I found a washer in one of them, a metal washer. So they definitely had issues. It wasn't just Turkey. They had issues in their supply chain, and I don't know what it was, but Lou got in touch and we had a couple of Skype calls. But then he went very quiet and disappeared. So anyway, I do have a sample of that, in inverted commas, dodgy salt. And I have thought about maybe sending an ICP away of just that salt. Or did I do that? I think I maybe did do that. I'll post the results on Discord.
I was actually wondering about your trace element dosing, because I found it was very easy to get out of whack with some of those things. And so I was kind of curious, do you have a specific rate you're doing? Are you doing like the lowest end possible? How are you dosing those?
I literally listened to Jim. Jim told me what he was doing. And I'm dosing 4 ml a day of both of them. But, you know, I've been dosing it now a month or so. I suppose I could send away an ICP and see where things are lying.
You know, I worried about that being an issue too, with just a bucket trace type style. But I figured I'm doing enough water changes that it won't matter. If I wasn't doing water changes and I was just doing a trace, I think it would be more important to narrow down what you're putting in the tank, because you're not taking it out.
I think that's very reasonable. I tried a couple of like the mixed solutions. Like I tried the CChem, which actually is pretty reasonable in terms of what's in it. And I tried the 2-part, like you're doing. And I just found that I got buildup of certain things. But I also wasn't doing automatic water changes in that tank. So that probably plays a major role.
Mike, are you fucking off at work?
No, I don't have to go in actually. Everything got canceled for this morning, so I don't have to do shit.
Superb. Nobody's dying. Good day.
Well, you know, they'll probably let me know if they are.
Ah, fuck it.
So,
Hold on.
actually,
I don't give a fuck.
hey Ron, I ID'd your corals. The green one in the back's a microclados, and yeah, that one. And then
Okay.
the Joker's either abruzinoides or robusta.
Yeah, so can you write that down for me, Mike?
It's in the chat, but I'll post it too.
Thanks. And what was the
Yeah,
other one?
and the other one is either the plating one's either hyacinthus or cytherea.
This one here?
Yep, that one. Yep. You'd have to have like closer pictures, like a good camera picture for me to tell you for sure, but it's one of the two.
Yeah, I've got photos I took with that underwater camera that you've got, so I'll try and remember to use them.
Yeah, I have mine on my damn desk and I never fucking use it. I'm like, every time I'm out there, I'm like back from work, I'm like, oh, I'll just use a fucking cell phone. I'm gonna screw with the other one. But
Oh, get stuck in, Mike. Come on.
you know, I'm old.
You've got a fucking 3 day off. Get your finger out.
That's true. Good point. And the one in the front's a plana, I think. That's the one we ID'd a long time ago.
This one?
No, the one in the to the left. That's the right. That one.
That one.
That's the plana, yeah. And the other one next to it's a convexa, if it truly is, you know, whatchamacallit, the PC Rainbow.
Do you want to just come over, Mike?
It's gonna be a long drive.
No, it's fine. I'll get the coffee on.
Okay.
What about your other tanks? Can you show us the quarantine tank again?
Yeah, of course.
That was more than just a quarantine tank.
Yeah, so what are you quarantining?
Nothing.
Sounds
And,
like a fancy.
is
A
it
nice
going
word
straight in
for
your frag
overflow.
system, or are you putting it in your main tank?
It was for quarantining fish, but I've not bought
Oh,
fish
okay, gotcha.
in so long. So this is a big Lobo, or I don't know if that's been renamed now.
It's nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's phenomenal, and there's a wee Trachophilia back there, just a wee green one. Bit of green cabbage leather. Some failed Acan frags. Some hammers. Some of that grows like weeds.
What the
Acropora.
fuck?
Microclados.
The biggest goniopora you've ever seen.
Jeez.
It's fucking huge. And then
Good
some.
God, that thing's fucking enormous.
Thanks, Jason. I'm definitely saving that.
That's what she said.
Yeah. That's going to be on the next tour. Some random wee fuzzy mushrooms that are actually in the shop system. There's a purple tang in there that has like the worst face scars ever. He is like a prisoner in a dodgy prison. You would not fuck with him. I think he carries a knife. So, you know.
Is that frag rack made out of Schedule 80 and bulkheads?
What the fuck is Schedule 80?
It's kind of genius, though. I was looking at that.
It's
like a really
crate.
good way to put legs on it.
Yeah, it's egg crate, bulkhead, and 25mm pipe.
That's freaking genius.
And I made it so I can take it apart anytime I want. I can change the height so it sits over all this live rock. I didn't want to bend the live rock. So I was like, well, coral's closer to the light's not a bad thing. So it's a bubble magus doser, only dose alkalinity. It has a Senai on it just for when I'm using it as an actual quarantine tank to keep on top of ammonia, etc. Auto top off, and just a simple sump again with bricks and some of the big genuine Brightwell bricks, not the shitty continuum bricks. And I just run a filter sock on this because I couldn't squeeze a Clarice in there.
So you don't dose calcium at all in there?
Nope.
Just do water changes or what?
I do, yeah. So I literally have a Eheim pump and a black hose that I just pump from here straight into the toilet. And pump from there into there.
Do you ever think about costs?
Ladies? Yes, I do.
Costs add up. And a tank like that, just water changing.
Costs really do add up.
Water changes just from one of your display tanks.
I'm not being flippant. We are not well off financially, but we get everything at cost price. So I don't think of it as much. No, it's not something I really think about. But you know what? Having just heard you say it, it kind of makes sense. So, I might make some changes. It's a G4 Radian Pro. I did have a kind of weird, kind of up and over big light. But when I started, this has only had corals in it a couple of months. It was just an overfill from the frag system. So I put this on to try and get better quality to light into. And it is growing corals, which is bizarre. See, Jim, this is my I don't do fucking shit tanks.
I know, but puts me to shame. I just have red flatworms and shit. I think I got a couple corals from Mike, and it fucking took over that fucking I don't do shit tank.
I am the king of flatworms. None can compare.
So this is my wall of salt, and I'm down to about 15 buckets, so I've got another 4 coming next week. That's my RO unit that goes up into the loft and then goes to all the different tanks. And this is an extra huge carbon filter because we have mega chloramines here. It's the bakehouse. I can't give you a
Holy
full tour.
shit.
Can't give you a full tour of the entire garden centre, but at Bernadette's
Holy
next shop.
cow.
Yeah, so this
In
is
the house? In that house, you guys have the bake center?
Yeah, this is the original owner's house. Okay, so this was a bedroom, and his kitchen was there. So we knocked the wall down and turned it into a professional bakery. Because we were really struggling, so we put aircon in and all the rest of it. Because when you're doing chocolate work, you need to keep an eye on temperatures. This was his dining room. That was his main bathroom.
So who's in the dining room now?
That is plant area manager Ian, and that is Emma's desk. And our cafe manager has this shelf at the moment, but we're working on it. That's the original owner's bedroom with his crazy wild.
So your
carpet.
fish get more space than your than the cafe manager.
How do I put this volume down? Shit. Oh, no, that's our cafe manager.
Is she the one who just has a shelf?
Yeah. Thanks, Jim. The one that just has a shelf.
A shelf?
Yeah, because the other two have got desks and you've only got a shelf.
I've got a shelf, yeah.
This is a group of guys from America, by the way.
Right, okay.
You're famous. This was his washroom, etc. And this is now the staff area. So the staff have a couch and fridges.
That's the lounge?
Yeah, so when we took over, the staff didn't have a staff room. They would all sit and eat their lunch in the cafe. The funniest part of this story is, though, that they would all sit down and have lunch all at the same time, every member of staff in the entire garden centre. So if a customer walked in, they would all pull a straw to see who was unfortunate enough to help the customer. So obviously, customer service was incredible.
That's a nice lounge. Got like sofas and
yeah, it's certainly better than no lounge and sitting in the cafe and customers leaning over you asking you plant questions when you're trying to eat a bowl of soup.
How far of a walk is it to the cafe?
The cafe is just outside the lounge. I fucking knew this wouldn't be about my tanks and it would turn into a fucking garden centre. But, I've got an idea. Hold on. You guys are going to make an absolute cunt of me. I'm putting earbuds in. I am not that stupid.
Oh, they could hear us?
Yes.
Oh. She's going to want a whole office next.
That's funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have trouble on my hands later on with regards to a shelf. Oh, laugh it up, funny men.
Oh, was that him?
I don't know. How many fingers did he have?
I'm sorry, I couldn't get the binoculars out in time.
Hey, go slow through here. Did I see a mayo bucket?
Where?
There,
oh,
on the right.
Yeah. we put dish towels in there and then put them in the washing machine.
Mayo dosing.
Yeah.
So you get that from the Canadians?
Yeah.
Oh.
Whoa.
That's Leona. And that's Emma up there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's about 50 times bigger than any other garden centre. This is just storage and where we keep soft drinks, etc.
Wow, it's legit.
This is our coffee station. That's Jan, Lorraine, and Bernadette. and that's the cafe.
Wow, it's full. Go introduce yourself and say thank you for coming. We appreciate your business.
I'll go back to the office now.
You take sugar?
No, thank you, Turkish. I'm sweet enough.
Any other tank-related questions, or are we all done with the tank?
I thought there was another tank you had.
In the shop, yeah.
Did you talk about your lighting at all on this tank?
Yeah, two XR30 G5 Pros. Again, had them turned way, way, way down. I think the proximity of the lights to the surface of the water only being 4.5, 5 inches. I think that means I do need to watch my power a wee bit. I mean, that's pretty fucking close to the light. And these lights
That
are
is.
powerful. I mean, they're not metal halides.
That's what she's. Is there a reason? Is there a reason you have them so low?
It just, it looks like where they should go. And to be honest, a little bit of light spill to where I work. I did have 3D printed shades on them that brought them down to about here, which meant I could mount the lines higher. But I mean, I'm not complaining about the proximity of the lights to the surface of the water. I don't think I should go ramping too high because of that.
I just wonder if you get a better spread if you went a little higher.
Yeah, I mean, I would get better spread, but the tank is getting completely flooded. Every square inch of the tank is getting plenty of light. If I went higher, I could probably get away with one light, to be totally honest.
Sorry, Russ, I interrupted.
One light?
Yeah, I could get away with one light over this tank if I mounted it higher.
Yeah, but then you might run into some kind of shadowing issues.
Yep.
If you send those acros on the right, the right half of them wouldn't be getting any direct light.
Yeah, that's why I went with the two from the start. I was like, it's virgin on overkill, but I don't think one would be quite enough. Maybe two XR15s may have done it. I don't know. The plan was to go fully SPS acros, except the ACANs. So I wanted to make sure I had plenty of light.
Well, a good old metal halide power compact combo would have you covered.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Organic.
Basically natural.
I don't know what I did with my filter. What did I? At what point when I was fucking around did I take the filter off?
Right at the outside of this office.
Oh, well done, Jim.
Yeah, right here.
You guys don't forget shit.
Jim's fucking dangerous with his memory retention, by the way.
Not stuff that's important, though. Looks great, Ron.
Thanks, Jim. I've never looked at it from that side. I obviously can't look at it from that side because I can't fit down there.
And the tank looks pissed off. Why does he always flare? Or just when you come close to the tank?
It's because I'm fucking around with a lens. He's one of the fish I have that definitely doesn't like the cluster of lenses you get on these new smartphones. I think they do look like fish eyes. Loving this new lens, by the way, Russ. I think everyone's bought one now.
Good. Yeah, it's it looked like the most economical option to cover the cell phone cameras that are now set up in a square or a line.
Yeah, but it also comes in a really good box and comes with a magnifying lens and all sorts of stuff. So well worth the money. So thank you.
I know I still use my old one, and it only covered one lens with the new phone, and I just cut the whole plastic bit out and made it a big round opening. It's like, what the fuck?
I wish I was smart enough to know how to just make the phone camera use one of the 3 lenses, but I'm not. It switches all the
you
damn
won't get you won't get the same focus. It wouldn't be as nice.
Okay.
Nice tank tour, Ron. Well done.
Okay. I'm gonna stop this. So thanks for the joining me on my tank tour. See you later.